All right, so you guys saw the titles. In today's video, we're going to be talking about 15 things you must know before moving to Decatur, Alabama. So if you're thinking of relocating to the North Alabama area, specifically if you're considering Decatur, today's video, we're going to be talking about those 15 things. We're also going to be sharing some local secrets that may not be obvious when you're doing your internet researching this area. These are going to be stories and impressions from locals here that you just don't get unless you've lived here for a little while. So like y'all, I am an outsider. I have relocated to this area as part of a military family. And so I'm going to be giving you that outsider's perspective. Decatur has a lot of pros and cons. And so we're going to just discuss this and let you decide for yourself. 15 on this list, Alabama is a caveat emptor state. What the heck does that mean? Caveat emptor means, it's Latin for let the buyer beware. So there's only about 6 states left in the entire US that are still let buyer beware states. All the rest of them are seller disclosure states. So odds are pretty good that you're probably relocating from a state that is seller disclosure. And that's where, when you go to sell your house there, that you have to fill out a form disclosing known defects with your house, to the buyer. Well, here in Alabama, the responsibility is not on the seller to disclose, it is on you, the buyer, to discover. So that's why it is so important to make sure that you are having your home inspections when you are purchasing here. There are a few exceptions, though, to buyer beware. First one is new construction. New construction doesn't fall under buyer beware. You still want to get your inspections, because are you really going to trust the builder's inspectors? You want a third party to inspect it. That does not work for the builder. So we still highly recommend inspections on new construction. But new construction is going to fall outside of that buyer beware, and they're going to have certain guarantees in backing that product, at least for that first year or so. The specifics can vary, so if you are looking at new construction, we're going to talk more specifics on that. But just know that there is some exceptions there for new construction. But for any resale homes or used homes, then it's going to be on you to discover. Now, some exceptions are if there is a health and safety issue, such as lead-based paint, or if there is asbestos issue, or sometimes structural can get in there with health and safety. Sometimes is, sometimes isn't, but the sellers are supposed to disclose that. In addition, any direct questions that you ask the seller, they can't lie to you. They may, but they're not supposed to lie to you. So if you directly ask them a question, and it can't just be a general, hey, is there anything wrong with this property? You're going to be specific on what you're asking, and then judging the response from there. So if you look and you see wet spots on the roof and you ask, hey, is there a leak in the roof? And they say, no, it's all fine. And if there is, that could be grounds for an issue, but you would still have to prove that the seller knew about it. So really it comes down to it, make sure that you're getting really good inspections. This is what's really nice now here in 2023, as opposed to a couple years back where you were having buyers who were waiving all inspections, all contingencies, just to get their offers accepted, which that I'm sure has led to a lot of buyer remorse as they got into these homes and did not realize what issues that seller did not have to disclose. So there you go. All right, and then the last one on this list that is covered is if there exists a fiduciary responsibility between the buyer and seller, the buying and selling party, then the selling party needs to disclose any issues that they are aware of. It's situation like that may be, if situations like that are uncommon and don't pop up a lot of times, but summing up, you need to make sure that you're getting good inspections when you are looking at purchasing here. All right, so number 14 on the list, Southern hospitality is definitely a thing here and very different from other states I lived in. I mean, technically Virginia is a southern state, but you did not get anywhere near the Southern hospitality that you do here in the North Alabama area. People are generally very kind, they're nice. They'll talk to you in the grocery stores. There is a sense of manners. You'll hear sir and ma'am more often than I ever heard in Virginia, areas like that. So they're just, it's more of it's that nice southern charm and hospitality. With that, so you'll get those very long southern goodbyes. Now, what are those? That's when you try to say bye, and then 30, 45 minutes later, you finally actually leave. So those can go on for, go on and on as you're saying goodbye. I'm guilty of this myself, as I'm a talker, I'm a people person, so I fit right on in with that. But yeah, you'll be at church and you'll try to say goodbye, and it may be a long time before you can finally exit the conversation and go. But people here, there's that nice sense of hospitality, that warm welcomeness. We'll say that though, something you may not know, the term bless your heart is not really a compliment. It's kind of like, oh, bless your heart, you're so dumb. So if you hear that term, oh, bless their heart, that's a veiled insult, a kindly veiled insult, but people here in the area knows what that means. So it's not all sweet tea and charm. They have their savage, you'll start to learn that southern savageness. All right, before we continue on the list, if you want to know everything about what it is like to work, eat, sleep, play, live here in the Decatur and North Alabama area, make sure to give this video a like. Helps us out a lot. Subscribe to the channel and click that little bell icon so that you don't miss a new video. We upload a new video every single week. And if you are thinking about relocating here anywhere in the Decatur or North Alabama area, our team is ready to help. My name is Richard Graham. I'm with Dean's List Realty here in Decatur, Alabama. Our team services the whole North Alabama area. And as part of the military family, I know the struggle it takes and the challenges of relocating you and your whole family to a completely different area. So that's what this channel is here for. That is what we're here to do, is make that move as smooth as possible. So shoot us a text, give us a call, send us an email, however you want to get a hold of us, and we'll be happy to work with you and find you that place to call home. All right, so let's continue on with the video. All right, so number 13 on the list, Alabama has a lot of termites. If you talk to any pest control person, I was speaking with one not that long ago, and they said, you have two types of houses here in Alabama, those that have a termite issue or those that are going to get it. So that's why it's so important to have your wood infestation reports and termite bonds on your house, because termites are very prevalent and very active here. Typically speaking, it tends to be, now all things in a real estate transaction are negotiable, but typically speaking it's customary for the seller to pay for and provide a free and clear Alabama wood infestation report to the buyer. Though that is still something you have to ask for, but that tends to be how things are. So usually the seller will purchase that and provide that, and that's a contingency on the property closing. A lot of times that's a major issue with financing contingencies and whatnot. But then once you have the property, you want to make sure that you have a good termite bond or treatment on it. It's part of the expensive home ownership, especially in an area with lots of active termites, eating fungi, things like that. So something that may not be an issue in your area, definitely an issue here. All right, so number 12 on the list, property taxes. So property taxes in Decatur, Alabama, which falls under Morgan County, Alabama, is very reasonable. In fact, the whole area is very reasonable compared to other parts of the country. Now, what total tax burden that you're looking at is you have state income tax, you have sales tax, and you have property tax. So you are paying all three there. But Morgan County, especially compared to Madison County, you are looking at a lower tax rate for property taxes. Just another reason to come down south of the river. You are having a little bit more of a commute there into Madison, but it does help that overall cost of living. I'll just throw some little charts up here for you to see just kind of some estimates and some of the difference between the property taxes. Now, number 11 on the list is Alabama has this really cool thing called a homestead tax exemption. This, and I don't know if every single state has this, but here in Alabama, you can claim your primary residence as a homestead. Now, no, that doesn't mean you need farm animals on there and gardens and all that. All it means is that you're claiming this as your personal residence, and that allows you to reduce your tax burden for property taxes. So as soon as you get that deed in the mail, you're going to want to go to the courthouse and claim your homestead exemption. That is something you have to do. It's not something that happens automatically, but make sure that you do that so you're not paying any more property taxes than you need to. But you do have to have that as your primary residence. That won't apply if this is a rental property that you're picking up or you're not living there, or you have somewhere else that is homestead as your primary residence. All right, so number 10 on the list, Decatur, Alabama has a lot of patriotism and military appreciation, which I like seeing. Coming from a military family, I have an appreciation for those who have served in our, for our country. And so it is nice to see that. You'll have events that will, I've seen events here in the area where they will call, military veterans to come up, and then the audience will clap for them. Audience members to stand and rise if you've served, and people showing appreciation. In addition to that, a lot of groups I'm a part of will have a Pledge of Allegiance either before the group begins or sometime in the middle of the group that I'm a part of. So it's just something different. Not every place has that, but you do see a lot of sense of this American pride here, which something that's crazy enough you don't see everywhere. All right, so number 9 on the list is Decatur has a very high water table. Because of that, you don't see a whole lot of basements here in the city. A lot of properties are, going to be on a slab. Some of them will have a crawl space, but you don't see much with a basement. And those that do have a basement tend to have moisture problems down there because the water table is so high. You're gonna have a sump pump down there or dehumidifier, some way to get the moisture out of there, because that does become an issue. Of course, we have a lot of moisture that can cause other issues down there in the basement as well. So that's why when you're looking in this area, it's going to be difficult to find properties that have that basement. So just a quirk on the area that you may not have known. Now, number 8 on the list, you will see this fairly often, is storm shelters. Not so much in the city limits, that's usually more out in the county, but it isn't that uncommon to find a storm shelter here because we do get tornadoes in the area. Now, if what are you supposed to do if you don't have a basement or a crawl space or a storm shelter on your property? Well, just be mindful of where local buildings in your area are that are tornado shelters or storm shelters. A lot of times your major retail spaces will have a designated storm shelter area in the case of an emergency. But just something to be mindful of. It's not like this area gets hit by a tornado every week or anything like that. It's just something to keep in mind if you're looking at this area and that is something that concerns you. Just pay attention to where those local storm shelters are or see about getting something installed. I do see a lot of sometimes where they will have, like in their garage, they'll decide to cut out and put a little storm shelter down in there, or they'll have those standing pods in a garage or somewhere that you can find at stores where you just set that in. They are expensive, but if they give you that peace of mind, then that may be worth every penny. Number 8 on the list is there are a lot of factories right here on the river. There have been some scandals with some of the manufacturers here and what they have dumped, into areas or into the water. Now, Decatur City's self-reporting on the water quality, shows it as all fine and excellent. I know for some of you all, you don't always trust what the city may say and what they may self-report. So I'm not going to tell you what to believe, what to look at, but you are looking at, okay, you have a lot of factories in the area, you have a lot of fluoride in the water. If those are things that concern you about water quality, definitely invest in a good water filtration system, either a whole house filtration system, or I use a Berkey water filter. I love those things. They do take a little bit to fill up, but hey, they last for a long time, and I like how the water tastes from them. But some people are concerned about water quality or what's in it, and others won't give a second thought. So I figure I just put that out there so you can make your own decision on that. But you can take a look at the manufacturing, the industry here on the river. There are a lot of plants here. You know what plants, tend to do. There is a cat food factory or meow mix factory plant there on the river, and they put out some smells, let's just say that. That is one of the tropes that you'll hear about the locals is people in Huntsville, they don't like Decatur because it's got that awful cat food smell. I'll hear that a lot of times in complaints, that it smells bad going over the river and crossing over. They don't like being stuck in traffic there and then just having that smell seeping into their car. And it all depends on how the wind is blowing that day. I know the other day you could smell it really bad, and there are some times where you won't notice it. So it does vary. It's not like the entire city is covered in the smell, just certain parts there by the river, you're definitely going to smell it more than others, and depending on what the wind is doing that day. But that is a local complaint that you'll hear a lot, something that you may not see looking from an outside perspective until you are here in the area. All right, so next on the list is homeschooling. So Alabama is a fairly homeschool-friendly state. I'm not going to say it's the most friendly homeschool state. They do require here in the state that if you're homeschooling that you have a cover school. Oftentimes that is going to be a Christian cover school. That does not mean you have to go to that church or even be a part of that denomination. It just means that that is the cover that you are under. Certain covers may have different rules on what you have to do as a parent when educating your child. We picked Rosewood Academy because it was when we were looking at it before we even moved here, it looked to be the least invasive. I did nothing with them. Attended no functions of theirs whatsoever. We just had that cover so that we could homeschool. A lot of people in this area that I talked to over and over again were part of Master's Hand Christian Academy. That covers school, so that's a very popular one here in the area. But there are others, and you have private schools that will let you homeschool that you can have as a cover, and then you have private tutors. And so there's different rules for all these different covers that you can fall under, but the most common one that you'll see is going to be the church cover school. So I would definitely encourage that you do a lot of research. But overall, Alabama is a fairly homeschool friendly state, and there are several different homeschool groups that you can be a part of here in the Decatur area. All right, so kind of local secret here. Next on the list is fireworks are illegal inside the city limits. That being said, you are going to hear fireworks in the city 4th of July. I mean, they don't care here. They're going to shoot them off, illegal or not. So if you have pets, I mean, it's always very stressful on dogs and pets when those fireworks are going off. Just maybe if we had a dog that he would freak out, we would just have to put him in his cage, and so he wouldn't go crazy, so he could feel that kind of comfort in that cage. 4th of July, you're going to hear those fireworks go off. Something to be aware of. Don't do it yourself because that is illegal, but don't be surprised when you hear it. Next on our list, local secret, is Airbnbs or short-term rentals are illegal in the city. And it's pretty well known here in the city that our mayor got into a bit of a scandal because he had a short-term rental that he was leasing out. I don't know all the details behind it, but you'll talk to people, and yeah, people in the area know that the mayor did that, and that created a bit of a scandal. Still illegal though, even if you're the mayor, but do consider that if you are thinking of purchasing an Airbnb here in the area. That's, yeah, you're not going to be able to get away with that inside the city limits unless the rules change. But, who knows how long that will be before it happens. All right, so number 2 on this list, this area is very pro Second Amendment. So don't freak out if you see someone maybe open carrying, or you may be talking to someone and you find out that they're concealed carrying. That is very common here in this area. People have grown up their whole lives around guns here. They're very comfortable and familiar with them. A lot of people will choose to exercise their right to conceal carry. Actually, it's even gotten easier here to conceal carry. It used to be you would go to the Morgan County Sheriff's Office and you would pay for a concealed carry license. Now they've kind of gone away with the need for that. I'll let you look into that as well. But I would recommend that you go ahead and get a concealed carry license if you're going to do that, because that does allow you, for reciprocal states who will honor that license. So it's still good to have that when you're traveling, but in the area, rules changed here recently, so it is a very friendly Second Amendment state. If that's something that you love, then you're going to absolutely love that here. If that's something that freaks you out a little bit, just know that just because people are concealed carrying or have a firearm does not make them a criminal. They're just using their constitutional rights. All right, so number 1 on the list, Decatur hospitals. We do have 2 hospitals here in the area, but I haven't heard the best about their reputation here from the locals. Now, fortunately, I have not needed to use the hospitals here in the area, but I haven't had any major health complications. Knock on wood, it stays that way. But I haven't heard the best things about the ones here locally. When I've talked to some of my friends who are pregnant, they have said that if their water broke, do not take them to the Decatur hospitals. They want to go to Huntsville. And if you look, Huntsville has some really, in the state, I think Huntsville Hospital is like number 2 on the list of best hospitals in the state, just behind Birmingham. So, unfortunately, Huntsville Hospital is not very far away. So I'll let you, if healthcare system is going to be a major factor in consideration for you, just do some research on the ones here in the area and the ones in Huntsville. Again, if decide that Huntsville is better for you, then we can take a look over the Huntsville area. Our team is ready to help you anywhere in the North Alabama area. So shoot us a call, or shoot us a text, give us a call, send us an email, however you want to get a hold of us. We'll be happy to help assist you with that relocation and help you find that place to call home.